Morning. Lovely to see you, beautiful being. Oh, it's a beautiful day here, so let me show you. Seems like ages since I've been able to show you the sky, and it's because it has been. Here it is, just a little breeze. I couldn't quite contemplate doing a live from the top of the hill today to show you the view. But here is the view here. Morning, Linda. Just a lot of blue sky. It's quiet. Hi, Kaya. That's why I've got my sun hat on. Oh, it's bright. And me eye. Turn around. Oh, okay. So now I've got the sun behind me again. Hi, Nesreen. Morning, morning. Greetings, number one. Yeah, it is lovely there, Kaya. It's beautiful. What can I show you? It's the time of year when there aren't so many flowers. But I'll go up here because it's shady. Here's something that we don't normally take the time to appreciate. The fennel plant. Let me get it so that the background isn't bright. There you go. It is truly a weed in that it grows like a mad thing, and it's wild, it's everywhere, and you can see that it's a relative of parsley, right? But isn't it beautiful? And if you crush the leaves, of course, they smell like aniseed. Can I do this without falling off? Correct, yes I can. Here's something that is flowering. This is a New Zealand native, kamahi. Let's get some focus. There you go. Beautiful flowers. They don't have a scent, but there are very, very many of them. Yeah, I feel lucky, Nesreen, to catch you live too. I feel lucky to catch anybody live. So there's the wild garden. But a larkspur's still flowering there. And yes, I pruned the yellow daisies. I deadheaded them. That has to be done. So, and here is the parsley, which is indeed related to the fennel I just showed you. So, yeah, it's the time of year when, because it's summer now and things are more or less drying out, although apparently there are massive floods in the South Island. You wouldn't know it looking around here. The plants know that there's going to be less water, so they organise themselves for that. Simeon, it is beautiful to see you. Welcome, welcome. I'm walking around in my back garden, and I want to talk about making things now. Because, again, I had my little meme smashing thing yesterday. You see quite a lot of posts where people say, good things are coming to me now. It's going to be a fantastic year. I'm going to have a great month, And the thing about that is that it's putting it in the future. It's saying, it's coming to me. But if you're in a place, and this is the quantum truth, if you're in a place where thoughts are things, if what you think literally becomes matter, and if you keep saying, it's coming to me, I know it's coming to me, well then it is. It's coming to you, baby. It just might never arrive. And I had a really literal experience of this a couple of years ago now, when I was working with my mentor back then. And I just started my subscription. Well, I just set up and started to promote my subscription group, the Heartfield for Abundant Manifestation. And at that time, you've got to start from somewhere. There it was, and I was burbling about it and telling people, hey, this is going to be a wonderful space where you can create real change in yourself. Exactly, satisfied now. Exactly, Linda. And I was burbling about it and promoting it, and of course nothing happened straight away. Sometimes people do that, but God, that was back in the days when I had really only a few hundred connections. Did you see I just broke 2,000? It's just happening so fast now, I can't really keep up. Anyway, so, and that in itself is an amazing thing. So there I was, and I said to my mentor, I can really feel it coming. I can feel this coming. Hi, Laurie. I can really feel this coming. And she said to me, yeah, but you got to make it now. You've got to actually start behaving and talking and thinking and breathing and everything like it's now, like it's done. Because if you keep saying it's coming, it's going to keep on coming and will never actually arrive. And so I did that. And, back then I wasn't connected with the body of work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, which has vastly accelerated my ability to do this stuff now. Back then it was, I need to think about it like this, and I need to talk about it like this, and I need to act like this, and I didn't understand I really needed to feel like it's done, like it's there, I didn't understand that part, not really, because the whole thing of being able to choose my state of being and create it was like a million miles away. But all the same, I did what I could, and I started to behave, to think, talk, blah, blah, blah. And I think within 1 or 2 days, I had my first person come in and say, okay, I'll give this a go. I'll trust you. And that beautiful being is still with us in the Heartfield. And wow, really, talk about transformation and ongoing. And wow, Arlan, it's beautiful to see you. And that space is still there. And you absolutely need to be it. You're so right, Linda. You should be doing these lives, honey, because you know this stuff. You're living it now yourself. And it's interesting, our lives are totally our initiation. Sarah, good morning, honey. So even back then, it was like, oh, was that just coincidence? The mind comes in and says, really? Khan, lovely to see you. What? Was that just coincidence? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I choose to really know and observe that the better I get at this process of being and living and inhabiting and sensing and feeling and tasting and touching and seeing and hearing my life the way I choose it to be, like it's already here, the more I see that it becomes like that. Step by step, little by little. I haven't had, a landslide explosion. I haven't had somebody give me 10 million bucks and say, there, go and do everything. But more and more, I'm getting better and better at feeling like that has happened. Danny, good morning. And that's a really weird thing to do. We talked about this yesterday. What do you mean? If I want to heal my body, I have to feel healed before it's going to happen? And of course, the thing which really makes sense to me now, but completely did not a while back. Morning, Karen! Yay, lovely to see you! It didn't make sense at all. But, when I say it like this, it makes great sense to me now. What? You mean, so you want someone to love, you want a partner in your life, but you're not going to let yourself experience a sense of completeness and wholeness and love and fulfillment and all of that stuff until that person turns up? That actually, when you think about it that way, is insane. But of course, it only seems insane to look at it that way if you realise that you actually can give yourself the feeling of being loved and feeling whole and feeling complete and feeling satisfied and like you have someone to talk to and, before that person or that community or that good friend or whatever it is arrives. It only makes sense if you realise that it's actually possible for us to really do that and really genuinely feel like all our dreams have come true inside ourselves before anything's changed in 3 dimensions. And the problem for me was I didn't know that was possible. And I wasn't going to walk around the place saying, everything's wonderful, all my dreams have come true, I feel fantastic, when inside I was just, nah. This is bullshit. I don't buy it. I don't believe it. I couldn't handle that level of internal dissonance, and I didn't know how to bridge the gap. I do now, and that's the difference. So now, for me to say, well, I can't feel abundant until I have the money in the bank is nonsense. But back then, it made perfect sense to me. I can only feel rich when I am rich, right? But now I know I only get to have money in the bank when I have lived that and felt it, and it's my reality long before, or perhaps not long before the event, I get to have the experience. Yeah, it's totally crazy because it's counterintuitive. Because, like I mentioned yesterday, we get programmed with the idea, and we had a bit of a giggle about it, Julian and I, and anyone else who remembers the Lynx ads in the 70s, that you have to wear this stuff and then suddenly the women are going to find you attractive. What? Really? This magic scent is suddenly going to turn you into a stud? It's ridiculous, but we're programmed into that. Get the new piece of jewellery and you will feel pretty. Repair your house and you'll feel satisfied with where you live. Get a new wonderful job and you'll feel like you're doing something meaningful. No, you have to feel purposeful and on target and in purpose in yourself. Because if you don't, you'll get that wonderful new job and you'll be excited about it for a while. Because, but then the novelty wears off, the honeymoon period is over, and your default mode networks will just fire up and do the normal things because you haven't really become anybody different. So you are still the person that was ungrateful, resentful, resistant, not engaged, not doing your best in that other job. You're still that person in the new job, unless you really think, hang on a minute, do I want to keep these attitudes? Do I want to keep this way of being? Do I want to continue to being this person or not? So part of that is realizing that what we think about, what we envision for ourselves, if you make it in the future, it's going to stay in the future. We need to inhabit it and become it now. And it's counterintuitive. We're not used to doing it. Just check the clock. We've got time. So what's the piece that's going to come in here? Because I feel like I've said it. We've got to live it now, right? It's this gap, right? It's the can't think of the word. There's a word that's on the edge of my awareness. It's like the cognitive dissonance. When you're seeing one thing over here and another thing over there, and you can't bridge the gap between them, and your brain is going, what? I can't do this. And that was the kind of cognitive dissonance I just talked about, where, you see all these people saying affirmations and believe it's done, and there was so much negativity and can'tness and impossibility, and this is not bloody happening just because I say it has. There was so much cognitive dissonance inside me, and I didn't know how to bridge that gap. So, okay, this is the useful part. Let me talk about how I bridge the gap. This will be interesting. How do I do this in about 8 minutes? Gotta giggle. So, let's choose an example. What is the example I want to use today? They're all the same. That's the thing. That's why I can't put a label on it. So, we'll stick with the word... we'll stick with your dreams have come true. Your desires are here, right? First thing to do is to know what your desires are, and that can be surprisingly difficult because we've been programmed to think, I want the lover, I want the house, I want the car, I want the job, whatever. But when you look at those things, it's really about the feeling it gives you. So actually, when all of your dreams have come true, how do you feel? And sometimes you can really connect with the feeling, but you have absolutely no idea what that looks like in 3 dimensions. Okay, I feel fantastic, but what does my life look like? Hell, I don't know. That's okay. Don't worry about that. The shape of it will find you. The feeling, the resonance, the broadcast to the universe says, hey, Divine Observer, I am in the process of mastering feeling like my dreams have come true. This is my broadcast to you. Now bring me more of this and bring it to me in a way that is so surprising and so amazing that I'll absolutely know that it comes from you. Divine Observer, that's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm saying. So you only need the feeling. Because particularly if you've experienced a lot of lack, everything that's kind of wired up inside your head that you can say, oh, that's abundance, whatever, is probably still through that really lackful lens. And I've experienced that. It's like, I don't know, but I do know how I want to feel. So if you don't know what it is you want, don't worry. Just go for how you want to feel. And then you say, well, that's fantastic, Maddie. Yeah, I want to feel whole. I want to feel joy. I want to feel love. I want to feel in love with life. I want to feel free to do what I want to do. Okay, that's great. But I don't. I don't, and then we've talked about this too, to recognise, okay, this is how I feel when all my dreams have come true. Great. I know that now, so I have a point B, and where I am is point A, and there's this huge cognitive and emotional gap between where I am now and where I want to be. How on earth do I get from here to there? So how do I do that? And believe me, yesterday afternoon, I was really with it yesterday morning. I had a fantastic day. I got to explain about this. I only had about half a night's sleep. I was really tired. But you know what? I was so coherent yesterday morning. I had a busy day. I had challenges come up, and I forgot I was tired. I was on fire. I was doing really well. I'm really proud of how I coped with all of that. And then later in the afternoon, something came up that really sent me into survival mode. And I watched it happen, and I actually couldn't stop it. I just thought, this is interesting. I'll have to manage this, and I did. And I went into be kind to myself. I went into be gentle with myself mode, because I had to. I knew that it was powerful enough that I couldn't just bull through it. And I was breathing in and out of my heart. I was making very conscious choices about how I was going to manage my energy, but it was powerful, and it was quite painful, really. And I dealt with it this morning. But that happens, right? The gap is there, and we fall into it. Stuff in our environment and our lives comes along, goes boom, and suddenly thinking, oh man, I did really well. I was doing so well. Like my tiredness just wasn't there. And then when this thing got kicked off, suddenly I was really tired. So, it was just a really graphic demonstration of how that works. So I managed myself. So there's this gap. Now for me, the way to move through that gap, very simple things that I've talked about before, my first go-to now, if I start to feel anything stressful, is to bring my awareness to my heart, the breastbone, the sternum, whatever you want to call it, that sits in the middle of your chest, your heart's behind it, is to put my mind in behind there where my heart is, and just direct my breath in and out of that space. And quite often, depending on what's being kicked up, that's enough to kind of pull me back, because that supports heart coherence. Geo, it's lovely to see you. It helps me find coherence again. It helps me calm myself down. It helps me get out of survival mode. If it's bigger than a few breaths in and out of my heart, and I can take time, then and I did this yesterday. I sat down, I did some convergent and divergent focus. Now, what I mean by that is, I put my awareness in, I usually start with the heart center, put my awareness in my heart, and I'll let it rest there, and I keep pulling my mind back to that place. It's like an exercise in paying attention. And then I put all my attention in the space around my heart. So around my shoulders, around my torso, around my chest. I put my attention out. So I'm taking my attention off this hard matter, and I'm going into space. I'm going into possibility. And what that does is it induces brain coherence. So you can see, the heart breathing helps to induce heart coherence. If you keep doing it, you will get a coherent heart, particularly if you introduce an elevated emotion into the mix. That can be quite challenging, but with determination, you can do it. And the convergent and divergent focus eventually will give you a coherent brain. And so I tend to start in the heart and then go up to the throat, and then the pineal gland, which is actually at the the back of your head, and then the pituitary, which is in the top and the front and the middle. And I do the convergent, divergent focus in and out of there. And I did that yesterday because I had time to do that, and I was such a kind of I really needed to do that. So I did that, and it kind of calmed me down a bit and, helped me connect a little bit. But I knew by then that whatever I was dealing with was really, really powerful, and it was. I found out this morning in my meditation, right, where I can go really deep. And so those are really simple things. And you can find me burbling about more detail about how I do them in recent lives, or if you don't know and you want me to explain, or you've got a particular question, just drop it in a comment and I'll respond. So I do that. Now, the point about all this effort and energy that I put into making my brain coherent, making my heart coherent, morning Sammy, is that when I'm coherent, all of that screaming and yelling and chatter and fear and whatever it is, that survival response is gone. by the time I've done that, my brain is quiet and I'm in a place where I can create. So, before I do the meditation this morning, I woke up with this. My default mode network this morning was angry, really deeply angry. And I went into the meditation and I did the Joe Dispenza's breath, which I'm not going to talk about because I'm just about out of time. I pulled it out, which was always a relief because that induces coherence too. And then we did the convergent divergent focus, which is just beautiful because of the sound environment that Joe's meditations have. Really helps me. And by then I can go into the field. I'm in my own operating system. I'm in my own autonomic nervous system, and I can create change. And that same impossible to feel feeling of everything's okay, I'm balanced, I'm calm. Oh yeah, this is what it's like to feel invincible. This is what it's like to feel in love with life. This is what it's like to have all the resources I need available to me. Hi, Sarah! I can do that there because I'm coherent. So this is how I bridge the gap. And I practice it in the field because once I've done that, there is a trail that I've blazed in my neurology and in my biochemistry and in my body that goes from A to B. And the next time I want to go from A to B, that trail is there. I'm a little bit more familiar with that path. I can do it again. And again, and again, and again. And what it means is that things that used to throw me into a spin, like happened yesterday afternoon, don't anymore, because they're kind of small stuff. And it's only the really important things that get kicked up. And they get kicked up so I can clear them, by the way. That's what that happens for. It's not to torture you. It's not to punish you. It's not because you failed. It's because you're ready to move through it that it's there. So I do that, and then I can start to create, because all of the stuff that goes on when I'm in survival and my brain is just in craziness is not there anymore. And then I can make it now. Then I can experience again the feeling of all my dreams have come true. And what happens when I do that, of course, is that more of the old synapses prune apart and more of the old chemistry changes and more of the old stuck energy that's been locked in my body, keeping me in fear and survival and all that stuff, more of that leaves. That's just how it works. And that is how I get across the gap. And yeah, I'm so grateful that I know how to do this now. It's a skill. Anyone can do it. It's work. But like I said yesterday, it's the most rewarding, gorgeous work that you will ever do in your entire life. So, I know I'm out of time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to your comments and your questions. Please ask me questions. I love it when you ask me questions because I get the best lives, and so do you when you ask me questions. Big love. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.